Okay, so I'm back. I literally haven't gotten up from my chair. I just finished my coffee, that's all. So my next thing was to grab some napkins. So I've got a whole lot of napkins here that were sent to me. And obviously this is a good way to do very fast ephemera with napkins. So you grab some book page if you like, because you might like to see the script. And I'm going to do it, you can, you know, do it with the watered down PVA glue or Mod Podge or whatever your method is. Now I'm looking for, what I'm looking for is my, got stuff everywhere, my watercolor pen. Here it is. Let's see, it's still got water in. So this is a good way, if you use this, let me just get some water happening there. If you've got your watercolor brush, I should say, you can just go round, actually here. So you need a nice big page. This is probably not the best one because it's torn. Let's just grab this one. I found another one over here. So I want to make little envelopes. So just have a nice size book page. Let me measure it for you. This one is 24 centimeters by 16 or 9.5 inches by 6.25 inches. So just fold it up randomly, however you think you want your proportions. And then you can, I like to fold it first so that way I can see where I'm going to be placing things, because you can totally cover it with the napkin if you want to. We might do that with one. Or this just helps tear it. Or you can collage the napkin here and there. Oh, that was great. But anyway, I think that's probably a better size. So like I can glue that down. Just rip that bit off. I can glue that one down there. Obviously the fastest way to put your napkin down is to cover the whole thing. So we'll do that next because that is the fastest way. So just grab my card and then I'll just go and stick some glue under where I missed. So trim that off. Get some more napkin and put it in some other spots. Here I've got glue everywhere. I've got glue all over my fingers. I haven't wet my towel, so I'm not organised. Surprise, surprise. Just take that off. See, that's not very fast, is it? Okay, so then we might have, I'm not using my brush, I probably should. I'm just going to have this piece up here. Good way to use up this way of doing it is a good way to use up those napkins, you know, that you don't have like a big piece anymore. Like you've got the bits and pieces, so you need to use up your scraps. And then here I would probably put a label and then just put some of this up here, maybe there, no, maybe like that way, yes, that way. So let me just open it out because I seem to be getting glue everywhere. And this one I might not bother decorating the back. What I might do is just thinking it could be stitched in sideways onto a journal page and become a side tuck envelope. I'll just glue that down there. So that's that, and that's already done, and that just needs to be stitched. I did get a bit of glue that needs to dry, and that needs to be stitched. So you could put a label up there, you could put a butterfly up there, label down there, butterfly up there, that sort of thing, and just stitch that down, and it's an envelope. Or you could grab a piece of paper, dyed paper, and stick that inside, and it can be a side tuck flip out journaling spot is also good. Why don't we do that? Because I've got glue everywhere, so I might as well stick this down. So I'll just rip that. I do think this is fairly quick, certainly faster than doing a whole lot of collaging or that sort of thing. So I'll glue this one down, and then I'll just grab another piece. I put it there and grab another piece to cover the rest. So put our glue on. And you can even just leave, if you want to think you might like to add a label and or butterfly or bird or whatever, or a bee, you can also leave it until you sort of get it into the journal. You might just want to add a ruffle, and then see, you know, what sort of decoration will go the best. So you could mass make these as well. Right, and we'll grab another piece of paper. What colours do we have? We have blues and purples, so we can just grab any paper really. Not that one, because it's not big enough. That's not big enough. When you start to get down to the little pieces, and find you don't have the right thing that you need. Across what I'm thinking of. Well, could I put that there? No, that's weird. Let's see what scraps I have over here. If I have anything white. Oh, there's a nice piece. Well, maybe I'll put that there and something else. I like that. So that's an actual piece of tea dyed paper. We'll glue that on, and then we'll patch it with something else. And then I can put even a little piece of this if I want to just add a little splash of colour. So tomorrow we'll move on with day 73. We'll do something else. We'll be done with this quick-ish ephemera. Okay, so that's that. So that will go, I won't fold, I'll let it dry, but that will go sideways. So you'll have a side tuck there or there, and it'll open out, and you can also write on there. Okay, so that's that one. We'll put that over there. It's very sticky. Now, the idea of... carefully rip this one out. So then the other option is with the, oh, that's wet there. The other option with the napkin is, if you've got a nice big piece like this, is to put your glue. I only put my glue in on half, and then I'll glue the rest afterwards, I think. So I'm able to lay my napkin down better. So basically just cover your whole page. And of course, you know, lots of people do this. I'm not the inventor of all things. Put that down. It's a beautiful napkin. Just run your thing over. Then I'll lift it up that way. Just pull it back a bit off the glue, so make sure I'm not leaving in the air pockets. Plenty of glue. How were your exercises, Lily?
They weren't too bad.
They weren't too bad.
They were hard, but they weren't too bad.
Okay, so that's that, and I'll try to.
There was no jumping involved.
Oh, no
squats,
jumping.
Lunges.
Oh,
stuff
good.
like that.
Good girl. I'm glad you're doing that. It's good for you.
Yeah. And while we're watching something, not that bad because, you know, it goes by faster.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Right, so that's that, and then I'm going to trim it off with my scissors. Okay, so that's trimmed off. And then I'm going to grab my cutter, and I'm actually going to just trim off that edge, but I need to fold it first because, so this is a nice napkin because that goes that way and that goes the other way. So that means I can fold it over like that, and my bird is facing up the right way. So check that out on your napkins if that's happening, if you have that luck. And I'm going to fold it up there. Just one note, I've made the mistake of folding them up really close to the other crease, and then it's hard to get things in and out of it. So yeah, maybe just keep it down a bit. And then, so that part of that's upside down, but part of it's the right way up. And then and you get this gorgeous envelope. I just have to stitch it and it's done. And because it's on nice old book page, you don't really have to, you know, put anything inside, but you could, of course, put something inside if you want to. So that's really fast. And then another thing you can do with the napkins is, again, glue it on a piece of book page, because I'm gluing it on. You could glue it onto music paper or anything that you like, because you can see the script under it. But for this purpose, I'm just going to do it with the book page. So I'll just do, again, half. Will we try a different napkin? So you could collage napkins, like I've got this bit, and then I could patch it. Maybe we'll try that. I could patch it with other ones. So let's see how that goes. A little bit harder, a little bit more messier to glue down, but not a problem, still working. So I've glued it to there. Did I put any glue over there? Yes. Now I'll lift it back. I did put glue down the side there. That was a bit of a boo-boo. I've got a lumpy bit there. I'll have to get that off, just a sec. So we'll just glue this. I'm feeling hot. I've got my window closed because so that way you don't hear the distracting noises. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I'll trim that off so then I can see what else do I want to add on. I could even patch it with this. I've cut a bit of my paper, it doesn't matter. I can trim it down afterwards. So you could patch it with the bits that come off as well. So I might put that there. Let's get some glue. So obviously if you use glue stick, it's not quite as transparent as using the wet glue, but you also don't get the paper, you know, sort of rolling, curving like you do with the wet glue. And it's faster, and it does seem to stick quite well. And if it's just going to be something that's going to be in a journal, it's not going to be thrown in your handbag and bashed about, I think it's fine, like no problem, no problemo. So I've patched up that bit, and then I'm going to patch this bit here. Just need to make sure it's all stuck down. Okay, that's better. Oh, I won't worry about that. I'll probably trim it off. And then I'm going to get this. I'm just going to trim that bit off because I don't need it to be quite that wide. And I'm just going to put some glue here. Big blobs of glue. And stick my flower there. Okay, so I've patched that up. And then what you can do with this, you can make another envelope if you want to, but you could also just, let's back it with, let me see if I've got anything big enough. I do. Let's back it with some tea-dyed paper. Get some glue everywhere, or in most places, because I will end up stitching. I end up stitching normally because I like the look, but you don't have to. If you don't sew on the sewing machine, you don't have a sewing machine, you just have to make sure you get your glue to the edges, and then you don't have to sew it. But I like sewing it. That's why I do it, not because it's absolutely necessary. So I'm just going to flip that over, and I've got a bit of glue everywhere now. I mean, the ideas for quick-ish, I'll say, ephemera are endless. There's so many things that you can do. Obviously, this would be a good thing to wait for it to dry, because it would dry, but I don't have time for that, so that's why I'm sticking to everything. But I'm going to trim off my edges a little bit because they're not exactly straight, and I'll trim this one as well. Okay, now I can't trim that way because it doesn't quite fit, but I'll trim off my first bit here, I think. Except I don't know if it's straight, so I need to, oh, I know, I can go there. I can line it up there. So I'll trim that one off. Okay. It's very sticky, it needs to dry. Trim that off there, and trim this bit off here. Perfect. And you get a very pretty tag. Looks like it's been watercoloured, almost, kind of. Trim that off there. Now that didn't appear to be perfectly straight to me. Trim that off there. And here I'm going to do 2 tags with this as well. That just needs to dry, and you can stick a butterfly on there, you can just put a label on there, put some lace on there, and then you've got 2 lovely, or 3 lovely tags out of 1 piece of paper. And that did not take long to make. And I might keep that one, that's the right way, so I might trim it here. You could let these dry and put them in your die cut machine if you have some interesting tag shapes, and you could die cut them into really interesting tags as well. I would probably end up sticking a butterfly on there. This one I think is super pretty as it is. So I don't think I'd do anything on this one except put a nice tab on it. I quite like that one. So that's that one. And this one I might leave that shape. So I'll let those dry before I do anything with them. So that's that. And then I have one more thing. So that, like, you can make pockets and all kinds of things with your napkins. Really great thing to do. I would mass produce them. I would have lots of pages, glue them all down, and then by the time I've glued down my last one, then the first ones will be starting to dry, so then I can complete them. But it makes you go much faster. And I've got one more thing which is fairly obvious. Well, 2 more things that are fairly obvious. So obviously if you've got your own postcards that you've scanned or that you could scan, I put that onto book page, and I just put a little bit of lace on this one, like a lace cluster, or some of my scrappy trim that I showed yesterday. Look, that's just gorgeous at the top. And that is done. It just needs to be stitched around and have its backing on. Same with this one. Maybe put a little cluster there with laces and buttons, and that would be done. Sometimes I even have these as pockets, and the same if you've got a pretty scanned postcard. Really, really, really fast ephemera. What I've done sometimes with these 2 is I put a flower up there. Quickly backed it, put a flower up there, put a flower on that in a journal that I just sewed. So really, if you've got a nice little background like that, you just add a flower and you've got really quick ephemera. So that's just another quick idea. And then my last thing, obviously, is if you have pretty scrapbooking paper that's left over, obviously, I mean, that is super pretty. You don't need to do too much. You could add a piece of this and you've got a belly band or a side tuck. And obviously that's going to be a really pretty pocket. I'd probably just collage something on there on the side. Maybe not that, I don't know. I quite like that. Put something like that, bit of doily, and then add, I don't know if I've got anything appropriate right here, but you know, just add, oh, gorgeous. I'm actually going to make that. I'll make that off screen. So that's the other thing. And the other thing you can do, of course, with the scrapbooking paper is you could, that's super pretty. You can cut that down to be a pocket and get your die cut machine, cut a window out. If you don't have a die cut machine, just get a ruler and a cutting knife and cut it out, and put some acetate behind it, just glue it on, and then you get like a window pocket. Is a really cool thing. And I might do some of those because they're super pretty, these papers, and yeah, you know, you just end up with so many of them. I think that's a great thing. You just have a moment where you mass produce them. Look at that. That's just a pretty side tuck that I would just put a little, I wouldn't even do anything to it. This is all I'm going to do to it, is that. That's it. That's going to be stitched on a page, and it's super pretty, and it doesn't need anything. So there you go. That's it. That's my ideas for the moment with the quick ephemera. So yeah, really quick to just glue stick down these and make tags. I mean, and I think I might even make some, let them dry and cut them out in my die cut machine as well. Some different shapes and sizes and things, because that's really, really fast. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you lots of ideas. I ended up doing 3 parts, so that way I could cover most of the things that sort of came to mind. I'm sure plenty will come to mind when I'm finished it. But, you know, there's lots of things there to make that are quite quick, rather than just, you know, doing all the work like these. I mean, they're fairly quick. I mean, you do get quite a bit of ephemera out of that, you know, but it does take more time to do the collaging. And for some people, collaging is really challenging, and so probably takes a bit longer. So these are just quick ways to get really pretty ephemera. Really pretty. I mean, how pretty is that envelope? That literally doesn't need anything. It just could have a little simple, where's that little piece of ruffle that I had left over? I've lost it. I've now, oh, here it is. Like a little pretty piece of ruffle. Oh, yep, that's going to go there. I'll do it right now, so you believe me, it's going on there. And I'll just stitch around that. I'll zigzag because it's decorative, and that is a very quick envelope or side tuck. This one's going to be a side tuck writing spot. And again, this one, I can fold it probably now. It's still a bit sticky. This one needs to dry, and I'll fix up. That'll all be fixed, because I am going to still zigzag around it, even though it's not going to be an envelope. But this one too could have a nice, this one actually might get a nice ruffle there and a label there. That's what's going to happen to that one. And that's not done, I haven't done anything there, because that's going to be a side tuck that opens out that you can write on. So that's fun. Or you could hinge it even. It doesn't have to be sort of thing. And then the pretty book. Oh, that was from the other video. That was the book. I mean, so many things were made in such a short amount of time. Really, honestly, that's quite quick. And then again, you can make tags and pockets out of them as well with the napkins. And then, of course, you've got your scrapbooking papers. So I'm just waffling. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.